Okay, hello everyone. It's an honor to be part of the 2025 International Conference on AI Revolution, Research Ethics and Society. My name is Ekundayo and I am a student at the University of Akron. And with me here is Professor Duan from the Department of Computer Science, University of Akron. My work focuses on sentiment analysis and I'll be discussing investigating the impact of age and gender on sentiment analysis in movie reviews. So I'll be taking you through my agenda. That's from introduction to the background of the study, literature review down to my references. Introduction. So movies have currently become a big part of our lives, and one big question is how many people here have actually reviewed one movie? And then if you have reviewed a movie, how many movies have you reviewed right now? So movie reviews are very critical for movie analysis and movie criticism. So this research is going to prove that, and you see reasons why you should actually review movies that you come across, movies that you actually watch. So what is sentiment analysis? Sentiment analysis uses natural language processing techniques to study people's opinion on certain entities, and in this case, certain entities refers to movies. Movie reviews help users decide if a movie is worth their time. And for example, if a user wants to watch a movie, it's safe to say the person actually checks reviews on the movie to know if the movie is going to be worth their time. Now, in a situation like Star Wars or a very popular movie like Squid Game, where there are over a million reviews, it's almost impossible for an individual to actually go through the million reviews and try to make sense out of it. So that's where sentiment analysis comes in. Sentiment analysis is a form of computation that uses natural language processing techniques to actually analyze to or determine the polarity of a sentence. That is, if it's positive, neutral, or negative. Now, one thing you should know about demographics is they play a very important part in marketing of different products. In fact, before movie directors actually create movies, they have to understand demographics of their target market. They have to understand the age of people that will be watching the movie and pique interest in the movie. One gap I figured out in this space is the fact that even though demographics are considered in the movie making process, they are not actually used in the movie analysis and criticism process. Now, there are different approaches used in sentiment analysis. There is lexicon based machine learning, deep learning algorithm, and hybrid approach which combines multiple sentiment analysis techniques. Lexicon based sentiment analysis. The lexicon based sentiment analysis uses a lexicon dictionary, and then this is a situation where a group of brilliant researchers have actually handpicked English words and English phrases and defined a fixed sentiment score for those phrases. So for a given review or for a given sentence, we just do the summation of all the polarity of each word or each phrase in the sentence. Basically, the problem with this approach is this approach doesn't capture sarcasm, and that's why researchers introduce machine learning approach basically. So machine learning approach uses machine learning algorithms like naive bayes, SVM to totally analyze sentiment expressed in movie reviews, and they have been effective in capturing sarcasm. The deep learning approach is a very popular approach also, and it has proven to actually be the best in terms of sentiment analysis. But the trade-off for this approach is the fact that it actually requires large amount of data in order to perform analysis using these approaches because it uses the neural network. Literature review. So I'm going to be talking about a few literatures that very crucial to this research. And the first one is Kumar in 2022. Kumar primarily sourced data from 900 users, and in this case, it was more about books, and he was able to gather the reviewers' ages, and he considered 4 age groups: reviewers less than 20, reviewers between the age of 21 and 20 and 34, reviewers between the age of 35 and 50, and reviewers above the age of 50. He ran it through a couple of algorithms, and he found out that CNN and SVM accurately predicted 78% of reviews where the reviewers were above the age of 50, which is quite fantastic. But here's the gap. Although CNN and SVM accurately predicted 78% of reviews, these two algorithms actually still struggle to pass the 72% mark for other age groups, with CNN predicting just 62% of reviews from reviewers between the ages of 35 and 50. So clearly you can see there are a lot of biases, probably stemming from the small size of the data set, and then in this scenario, books were considered non-movies. Ramadan's paper in 2021 focused on a particular movie, that was Squid Game, and then this data was a secondary data source from IMDb movie dataset. So after getting the data and cleaning the dataset, the author ran this dataset through multiple algorithms, SVM, linear regression, and he found out that SVM outperformed linear regression, accurately predicting 79% of the polarity of the reviews correctly. So from this to literature, we can highlight that SVM is a very powerful algorithm when doing sentiment analysis, basically. Now, a gap identified in this research is the fact that demographic data was not considered in sentiment analysis of the review, and this is just one of the many researches that don't actually consider demographic data when doing the sentiment analysis of movie reviews. So, methodology. 3 methods were actually considered for this research, and the first one was data pre-processing and preliminary analysis. Now, for the data pre-processing step, we tokenized the movie reviews. That's where we split the reviews into words, unique words, basically, and then the stop word removal. An English stop word is basically a word that does not carry a meaning of its own. So stop words were removed to improve the accuracy and reduce the training time, basically, and they proved effective. Same thing for punctuations. Although punctuations add more meaning to the sentiment expressed in a movie review, it doesn't carry a meaning on its own. So therefore, removal of this punctuation actually increased the accuracy of our model. And then word lemmatization. So word lemmatization is converting English words to their base dictionary word, and this helped increase the accuracy because there were lesser tokens to consider in the research. So after the data processing step, preliminary analysis were carried out where we obtained the different distributions, the age distribution, the gender distribution, and a fundamental analysis of the data set. The second method used in this research was feature extraction and model training. And then in this step, we used TF-IDF vectorizers to obtain different word tokens in this data set. And after doing that, the word tokens were passed through 3 algorithms. That's the SVM, random forest, and naive Bayes. And then SVM, random forest, and naive Bayes models were trained on this data set and evaluated with the age and gender features. Now, the models that were trained were actually tested using the test set. The third method considered here was the hyperparameter tuning and model evaluation. So, key parameters like the test train split, the word token limit, and age scaling were optimized for accuracy using scaling. And for example, initially the age scaling technique used here was standard scaler, but after proper hyperparameter tuning, we discovered that min max scaling actually improved the accuracy, which we later switched to. In this research, we're going to be accepting our hypothesis of difference, that is, age and gender significantly influences the sentiment expressed in movie reviews, And in the next step, which is our findings, you see why we actually accepted our hypothesis of difference. Finding one, demographic data distribution. So most reviewers fall within the age bracket of 18 to 29, followed by the age bracket of 30 to 39, probably because younger people tend to watch more movies. And then we can see the downtrend until it gets to um, 60 to 69, where we see that people reviewers with ages 70 plus actually had more reviews than ages 60 to 69. An explanation for that is the fact that 70 plus is actually a larger range than 60 to 69. So we also see that women are more likely to review movies than men. The demographic data distribution of positive reviews. Among all age groups, reviewers aged 40 to 49 are more likely to leave a positive review, followed closely by those in the age group of 30 to 39. And a possible explanation for that is older individuals may be more appreciative compared to like younger individuals. Then for our third finding, demographic data distribution of negative reviews, we figured out that the age group 18 to 29 leaves more negative reviews. I mean, because probably this could be attributed to the fact that teenagers may be more vocal about their dislikes. So, and for our fourth finding, which is the model performance evaluation. So clearly from the three diagrams here, we can see that SVM outperforms the other algorithms, that's random forest and naive Bayes. Our SVM model actually outperforms the other models, that's the random forest and naive Bayes model, in the three evaluation metrics we used here, that's accuracy, precision, and recall. So after intensive training, our SVM model actually came out with an accuracy of 86.65 as against random forest accuracy of 84.06 and naive Bayes accuracy of 79.56. In our fifth finding, now we are going to consider the impact of demographic data on the models. And then we can see from the diagrams here that SVM with demographic data definitely stands out compared to the SVM without demographic data. And after using a technique of 5-fold cross-validation, we discovered that SVM with demographic data actually outperforms SVM without demographic data in all iterations, which means demographic data should actually be considered when dealing with sentiment analysis. Another significant finding is the fact that not only does demographic data improve the accuracy, it also reduces the error margin, because SVM without demographic data gives an error margin of plus or minus 1.21, and SVM considering all demographic features in this research gave an error margin of plus or minus 1.07%. And in our sixth finding, here we try to consider how the algorithm performs across age groups, and we see that SVM was consistent and it outperformed all other algorithms for reviewers aged 18 to 69. But however, for reviewers aged 70 and above, naive Bayes and random forest demonstrated better performance. Statistical analysis. So this is the confusion matrix for this research basically. Now we see that while 818 reviews were correctly predicted as negative, 124 were incorrectly predicted as 124 reviews were incorrectly predicted as positive reviews, even though they were negative. And then while 902 reviews were correctly predicted as positive, 140 were incorrectly predicted as negative, even though they were positive. So these are my references. But before we wrap up today, I would like to present a software demo showcasing the practical application of our research, and that's Sentilizer. Now this is a live application currently. It's Sentilizer and it's able to analyze your movie reviews. It works as an AI agent where you can send messages like a chatting system, and the AI agent actually analyzes your movie reviews and gives you a response based on the result from the analysis. Another feature of this application is you can also upload files for bulk analysis. So here we'll click the quick movie reviews. So here we see the AI agent has responded and it says this is a positive review. You can also type things out like this is a terrible movie, and it tells you it's a negative review. So in this Excel document are a list of exceptions that I've been able to get during the course of the research. Take for example, this is a negative review. This was obviously a low budget film. It shows in every scene. What is nice is to see where it was made. So definitely this is a negative review. But somehow, when we use the default model that does not consider demographic features, it actually takes it as a positive review instead of a negative review. But when we add the other factors like the age and gender, it gives the right response. In this case, we have a 22-year-old female that gave this real review. So we see it's a positive review, which should not be so. It should be a negative review. But when we add the 22-year-old female, now it gives us the right thing, which is a negative review. Now we're going to test out the bulk upload feature. Here I've been able to gather a list of 10 reviews, and this is what it looks like. So now we're basically going to upload the document in the app. So the moment you upload the document, this section of the application changes, and then you are asked to set your age and gender column and also your review column. So compulsorily you must have a review column, and then you decide the column for age, and in this case I set the age column to be review age. So automatically is able to detect that the review age column in the Excel document looks very similar to what it will require for the age column in the system. And also the gender column, it's able to identify that the review gender column is a gender column. It's a list of genders, either male or female. So now we're going to run the analysis. Now we have been able to download this document, and then this is what it looks like. So it comes back with the review column, the age column, and gender column, since we consider those rows. And then we also get the prediction column, which is generated by the AI agent, and we see both positive and negative reviews. Good. So if you look closely, an absolute masterpiece is definitely a positive review. So bad it was almost entertaining. The acting is awful. The dialogue is laughable. We know it's a negative review. A bizarre and unsettling experience is definitely a negative review. And then this was able to identify the this was able to classify the reviews properly. Thank you very much for listening today.